Hello, this is Todd Luck, and this is a video on Splatfest and Splatoon 2. So it is the 35th anniversary of Mario Splatfest with Team Superstar versus Team Mushroom. I am on Team Superstar. It is the yellow mustard colored ink, and we are fighting Team Mushroom, which is red ink, which you'll see in a minute. This is commentary recorded after the fact. I just thought you guys might like to see some of the Splatfest exclusive stages while I'm talking, and that has been one of the silver linings for this Splatfest. This is my first one in Splatoon 2, probably my only one since they kind of stopped doing them. This is a special event, but I thought it was really neat that they did stages exclusive to the Splatfest. But at the same time, I also think it's a shame that they're only in the Splatfest, because there's going to be a lot of players who never get to experience these, and they're really cool. They bring in, a bunch of different mechanics that are not in the regular stages, and I just think it's tragic that there's going to be players that never get to experience this. And I felt that way about Splatoon 1, but with Splatoon 1, it was just that the stages were now at night and had special music, and, there was a concert in Inkopolis Square during the Splatfest, and you got to miss out on that if you didn't buy it in time for the Splatfest. But they still compensated, at least for the concert, because you could get a concert with the Squid Sisters amiibos, but I still kind of lamented the fact that they didn't have a way to kind of simulate that, after they ended the Splatfest. Honestly, I will say one of the reasons I got this was not just for this Splatfest, which was the reason I got it on the Black Friday sale, but also because I kind of was under the impression that they were still doing them. I thought they were doing repeat Splatfest, which I thought was a really smart idea, but it turns out they did one, but it was only a one-time event to entice people to buy the game, and so I'm not too mad about that. That was my own misunderstanding. I should have done more research, but that's okay. At least I get to experience the Splatfest in Splatoon 2. Now, the only thing about it is that it has been a mostly miserable experience. You can see my video on the first night. It was just everything that could go wrong did go wrong. The second morning, or the first morning, I guess I should say, second day, was a little bit better in some aspects. I did actually have matchups with Team Mushroom. The matches were actually closer, and so it was a little less miserable. But what happened was, between matches, it kicked me out and kicked me back to the lobby every other match. It was infuriating. I would find these great teams I was playing with and then get kicked back to the lobby and have to be randomly matched up with other players over and over again. I was screaming at my TV. It was so frustrating. And then when I played yesterday afternoon, we were unfortunately back to mostly fighting our own team, which is demoralizing, and lots of lopsided matches, lots of dropouts. Some of the dropouts I think are probably connection related. I had a dropout at the beginning of a Team Mushroom fight, and it was on my end, so it began with 3 squids on my team, and I almost cried because if you've ever played Splatoon, it's very, very hard to win with only 3 squids. It's a very lopsided match. There was another match that I actually had a dropout on the other team, and then we still got blown out, and I'm like, what in the world happened? And when I checked the results, it turned out during the match we had 2 people drop out during the match on our end, so that's why we got blown out. But that was, again, one of those matches where we were fighting our own team, and I think that was just players that were just like, I don't care, this isn't going to count. you know, and I've actually seen players just sit there on the spawn point and not move the entire match. You know, we've had players just drop out instead of just playing yet another match that just doesn't count against their own team. And I sympathize. I understand that. It does fill me with despair. I still try to play through every match anyway, but yeah, it is a bummer, and I wish that Nintendo would just take a hint, because I don't think this is just me. I think this is a lot of players. I would much rather just sit there and wait a while to get a match that counts against the other team than to play another scrimmage against my own team that's not going to help. I really would prefer that. Another thing that I think would help is if there were more than 2 Splatfest teams. I think that would up the chances of finding matches with other teams if, you know, it was more than 2 teams. And I think if there is a Splatoon 3, I think that might be a definite possibility. I have not gotten to the ending of the single-player campaign in Splatoon 2 yet, so please don't spoil it. But as far as I know, we have 2 sets of hosts now. We have the Squid Sisters from the first game, and we have the Off the Hook girls, and so that would be 4 hosts, and that could lend itself to a 4-way Splatfest, which I think would probably be more effective than what we're having right now. It is disappointing because we're umpteen years into this that, you know, the same issues that diminished previous Splatfests are here just on steroids. So hopefully, you know, Nintendo can work on this, and, you know, if there is ever a Splatoon 3, we can see, you know, some major improvements on that. Because, you know, the stages are great, the weapons are great, the design work is great, lots and lots of great programming on the part of Nintendo. It's just that kind of online matchmaking component that really needs to be worked on to, you know, kind of get this right. But it's still a fun game. I don't regret buying it. I'm glad to experience this. I just wish it was a little bit of a better experience for this particular Splatfest. Well, that's it for right now. I'm probably going to record a video for the final match of this particular Splatfest. But until then, see ya.